Why do y'all think that entire societies work so hard to convince Black women that they're not beautiful, that they're not the most desired? Why, as a child, I was reading these statistics being published to just put on Front Street, Black women are the least desirable. Why are they trying so hard to convince us of that? Because they're trying to convince us of that, which true doesn't need to be spoken. At this point, it's embarrassing how hard people are trying to discredit Black women. It's almost like when a jealous bitch has a crush on somebody, but that person don't like them back and they like someone else. That jealous bitch is always going to be like, no, that bitch is ugly, trying to convince their crush that that person that they like isn't cute. That's what y'all look like. I'm breaking the cycle of the perpetuating beauty standard. Walk with your head held high. You are beautiful.
I never knew there was a love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. I never knew there was a love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. I never knew there was a love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love.
A lot of people didn't like Lizzo because she was a jolly and proud, fat Black woman. Some would say she was a buffoon or menstrual or even disgusting, which a lot of this is wrapped up in fatphobia and misogynoir. If you had to think of a current artist who most embodies self-acceptance and self-love, you seem more benefiting than Lizzo. Since 2016, she's been the poster girl for body positivity, running campaigns supporting body acceptance, collecting a People's Champion Award, and even producing and starring in her own Emmy-winning Amazon Prime reality show called Watch Out for the Big Girls, in which fat women compete to be dancers for an upcoming tour. Empowering lyrics like "Boss up and change your life," "You can have it all, no sacrifice," and "It's bad bitch o'clock, yeah, it's thick 30" have helped propel her to a stratospheric level of fame. Lizzo is, for many, symbolic of being unapologetically Black and fat, inseparable from the message behind her music. Frances Beale argues that as both Black people and women, Black women carry a double strike against them. Consequently, they experience both racism and misogyny, termed misogynoir by Moya Bailey. Language in recent medical publications indicates the severity of fatphobia in America around the Black woman's body. Fatness is something Black women have a high recidivism rate. With after weight loss, this rhetoric affirms the criminalization of the Black body. Fatness is something a Black woman has. Recidivism, with a term used almost exclusively for incarcerated people. Thus, the medical community's discourse affirms the legitimacy of fatphobia and of fatness, adverse effects on health, inviting discrimination against Black fat bodies. Specifically, it suggests that Black women need supervision over their bodies by white people. According to Buffaloon, the plumpness of Black Americans was evidence of their ease of circumstance and their idleness. The land inhabited by the Negroes, he claimed, was rich, abounding in pasturage and millet, and in trees always green. For this reason, Black Africans were able to stay well nourished with little or no effort, which made them quote unquote well fed, but also quote unquote simple and stupid. Buffaloon's linking of corpulence to laziness and slow-wittedness was in harmony with the idea of the thin, fine, serious intellectuals of England of a century earlier, as well as it should have been. Upon departing for England, Buffoon found himself well received by the English intelligentsia, and this is from Fearing the Black Body, the Racial Origins of Fatphobia. Basically, there's a lot happening with Lizzo right now. including her wellness journey. At 2023, she told her followers that while she's been, quote unquote, taking the physical part of her career more seriously, in recent months, she's not trying to escape fatness. She says, I've always loved moving my body. I've always loved working out. In a May 2023 TikTok video, I'm very holistically conscious, like I am very hippy dippy and woo woo when it comes to food and supplements and just thinking about my body and the environment. And I think a lot of people see a fat person that way and immediately just assume everything they're doing is to be thin. I'm not trying to be thin. I don't ever want to be thin. I think a lot of people don't think of being fat and healthy as like something that can be done at the same time. Often people will cover up their fat phobia by saying, I'm not saying you look bad or there's something wrong with you. It's just that I don't want you to be unhealthy. I don't want you to have this health-related diseases. But a lot of you all know there are skinny people who admit to overeating or trying to gain weight or just eating the wrong foods. And I never really see people say, watch your sugar levels, watch your cholesterol, because I feel that in this society, as long as you look good or you are able to have a high metabolism, that a lot of times people, maybe aside from your doctor, they don't care what you consume. In that regards, I do feel like fat phobia exists based on your body image. Lizzo has publicly been humiliated because of her deciding to glorify or showcase her body. A lot of people view it as her being a minstrel show or buffoonery. There has been like public opinion going on to like this conversation. A Twitter user says, I've been saying this. I legit can't name one Lizzo song because the whole I'm fat, look at me being fat and naked in random places, but y'all really just hate me because I'm fat, be mad thing made me cringe and uninterested. Truth is, she is not even really fat as she trying to put off. Then someone responds, but how is that different from any pop star who is similarly showcasing their body? Nobody says a word when Doja, Ariana, Halsey, Meg, etc. are putting it all out there. And they do just as often as Lizzo. Some models on IG don't do anything except be naked, but not a word from it. Another Twitter user says, believe it or not, there is dignity and decency. Of course, the world attacks a standard for morality, but read the room, Lizzo. And despite body positivity, obesity is too dangerous to be celebrated. You see people who are on both sides of the coin, but then you see some people who are just like, I guess you could say extremists or publicly taunting Lizzo. A lot of these are white people, specifically white men, but a lot of these are also Black people. And I'm going to tell you about some of these people. So Boyce Watkins had taunted Lizzo basically on Twitter. And he basically said that similar to Candace Owens, she was being used and that being fat just wasn't great. He says, Lizzo popular is because there is an obesity epidemic in America. Rather than encouraging people to do better, we are simply lying to them and telling them that they are just fine the way they are. Unfortunately, many of these people are dying from diabetes and heart disease. Then he goes on to compare her to Aunt Jemima. They would kind of go back and forth. He says, people don't critique the music of Lizzo because she's fat. Aretha has meat on her bones and many other great Black women. People have an issue with Lizzo because she's a minstrel show. That's why people challenge the behavior. When I found out that Dr. Boyce Watkins said this about her, immediately I thought of, this is a fat Black man, similar to Aries Spears. And another thing that went through my head was how he also criticized Young M.A. for her alcohol usage. Young M.A. seemed triggered by it, but she would later admit that she had an alcohol problem. I feel like that the older generation of Black people sometimes are brutally honest about health, but a lot of times it comes off as them being rude. And so there were other men, like I said before, like Aries Spears, who would talk about Lizzo, and his was more disturbing than Boyce Watkins. He compared her body to basically looking like a shit emoji.
Lizzo?
Yeah, bro. Have you heard her shit, yo? Like as a songwriter, yo.
I can't get past the fact that she looks like the shit emoji. She's got a very pretty face, but she keeps showing her body off, nigga. Like, come on, man. Come on, yo. I'm sorry. Listen, I ain't the most in shape nigga in the world, but I still, when you funny and you got swagger and confidence and you decent looking, I think I'm at least handsome, you get pussy. But a woman that's built like a plate of mashed potatoes is in trouble. You know what kills me about women is the hypocrisy and the contradiction. Yes, queen, slay, queen. Yes, queen, slay. Yeah, girl, your confidence. Fuck diabetes. Fuck heart problems. Fuck heart disease, cholesterol. You all claim womanhood and about sisterhood and support for your sister, when it come to that ridiculous shit. But if you really gave a fuck, why wouldn't you go, black girl, we love you. We love your confidence, boo-boo. But this ain't it.
There was another situation where Lizzo would go on P. Diddy's live and she was twerking. P. Diddy stopped the music and told her she was being inappropriate. And people kind of saw it as a double standard because there was another musician who also twerked and P. Diddy didn't stop her. I think that if there is a no twerking rule or any rule, it should apply to all people, not just people someone finds unattractive. It's also weird how people justify P. Diddy telling her not to twerk because she was in front of children. The only children who were there were, I think, the twins, and I don't remember seeing them in the cameo. But I think it's weird how people justify the Combs heirs, specifically the men, when they are accused of something and they automatically view them as children. When again, they are adults who happen to be the children of Diddy and usually participate in the glamorous life surrounded by some of the same activities of their father and paired with similar looking women, but I digress. There has also been a lot of situations where fat black women have been called Lizzo as an insult, and people have talked about it publicly, and they said, "You are so correct. I will never understand why people think that the size of my body is the worst thing. They're calling me fat is so horrible. Yeah, of course it hurts, but also we have all been called fat so many times. Like, wow, how original. Why don't you come at me for something that actually matters?" And to call someone else who is fat, again, so original. And like you said, who wouldn't want to be Lizzo? I just do not get it. Why does the size of one's body, color of their skin, gender, sexuality matter? How does any of that make you any better or worse as a human being? I'm just so over it. South Park would also make fun of Lizzo and Lizzo would react. Lizzo in general would have outbursts or responses to being called fat, which I think was very warranted because as a lot of people acknowledge, celebrities too have feelings. And imagine just being yourself on the internet and constantly being scrutinized.
Not how do you deal with being obese every day? Oh no, man. I wake up into my obese bed. I have to get like a king bed because I'm so obese, and then I put on my obese Louis Vuitton house slippers and I walk into my massive obese bathroom and I just stare into my wall-to-wall obese mirror and I just lather myself in the most obese, expensive oils and creams, and oh God, I walk into my obese, gorgeous, mid-century modern kitchen, and by the time I've made it to my kitchen, I've already made another obese $1 million. There was this one dude, literally from 5th grade to high school, who would call me fat ass every day on the bus. I would get on the bus, she'd be like, "Who's so fat ass?" But for me, like, that was hurtful. The most popular guy in school, basketball player, is calling me fat ass and like it's funny to other people. And I would have the worst attitude because if I look mad, you know, maybe people will believe something's wrong and they won't bother me about it. Then it created this like work self-image. I feel like my problems with myself or my problems with people will resolve on their own if I just hold it in. Like the world just don't love me back.
Singer Lizzo is in tears.
I feel so down. I worked so hard.
She says she's being fat shamed and the target of racist comments on social media after the debut of her new video, Rumors.
I want to make this video because I just need to clarify. When I say I quit, I mean I quit giving any negative energy attention. What I'm not going to quit is the joy of my life, which is making music, which is connecting to people. Because I know I'm not alone. In no way, shape, or form am I the only person who is experiencing that negative voice that seems to be louder than the positive. If I can just give one person the inspiration or motivation to stand up for themselves and say they quit letting negative people win, negative comments win, then I've done even more than I could have hoped for. With that being said, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep being me. Once again, I just want to say thank you. The love that I've received, means more than you know.
Ironically, there would be accusations of Lizzo being fatphobic to her employees and causing an uncomfortable work environment.
And said, hey, Ari, it's your turn to, touch the performer. I shortly left after that because at that point it wasn't even worth my job.
Ariana Davis is one of 3 former dancers suing Lizzo, claiming that during their time working with the singer, they were fat shamed, faced racial, religious, and sexual harassment, disability discrimination, assault, and false imprisonment. The lawsuit filed Tuesday comes as a shock to fans because Lizzo has been known for messages about body positivity and representation. That was the point of her show, Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls, giving dancers a shot at joining her cast. That's how 2 of the dancers suing met Lizzo.
The truth is that hurt people. And I don't think that she's a terrible person, but she did terrible things.
While the dancers are calling Lizzo inappropriate, Lizzo said in her statement it's the other way around. She said that the former employees have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional.
The same though a few actually cared. A lot of people use it as an excuse to be more fatphobic toward Lizzo and fat people in general, which I think a lot of people also enjoy the fact that people acknowledges as a way to humble her instead of actually listen to victims or the story at hand. So now I'm going to play some public opinion and then I'm going to conclude.
Anyone that's trying to say that Lizzo is acting like a mammy is completely wrong and you're colorist and fatphobic.
And you're most likely black, which is the saddest part. Am I the only black person that thinks it's very weird that black people use slave terminology in order to criticize one another? Like, we all know that there are hierarchies in the black community. Fat people are at the bottom, especially fat black women. I also hear it when gay, queer black men are out. Y'all start talking about buck breaking. A black woman dates outside of her race and she's a bed wench. Mind you, both those terms are describing assault, which is not what gay and interracial relationships are. However, anyone that does anything outside of being the right type of black for y'all deserves to be scolded. And in Lizzo's case, y'all are calling her a mammy because fat black women are not supposed to show their bodies. Not supposed to express the fact that they're sexual beings. They supposed to make your cornbread. Give you some of that titty milk. God forbid they are ever brought to orgasm. Y'all can argue about the N-word all you want. I think the fact that we still use these type of terms is much more troubling.
Y'all really think all black people look alike, but y'all really think all black plus-size people look alike. Hey, baby, we don't. I've literally been called everything from Queen Latifah to Sinclair. And baby, I love Lizzo. Lizzo's beautiful, baby. Yes, I'm coming through the curtain with it. I have to get that natural light. But anyway, I think one time they even told me it was giving Missy Elliott. Y'all gotta try harder. Because if you want to say my baby... Lizzo, if you see this, call me. I've been trying to get some yitty, girl. Call me. Okay? Yeah. And good night. Here's the attention you wanted.
The current discourse around Lizzo says a lot about what you think black women can be and what black women should do. And I'm specifically referencing the idea that Lizzo fits the mammy archetype in some way. For those who don't know, this is that. Pause to read. The thing is, nothing about Lizzo gives mammy at all, besides the fact that she is both fat and darker skinned. That's it. That's all. But what it does show is that when Black women deviate from whatever prescribed norm we've given them, especially as Black people, we reach for the nearest stereotype, even if it doesn't make sense and even if it doesn't fit. I mean, there's nothing maternal or mammy-like about Lizzo twerking half naked to her own songs. Fat phobia in back pocket, it's not about the fact that she's doing it. It's about the fact that she's doing it confident in her body, confident in her skin, and to pop music. Every time a Black woman deviates from rap and R&B, y'all get panini pressed. Black women don't owe you a specific genre of music. And if you don't want to listen, okay, but leave the stereotyping at home.
Like, come at her for no apparent reason. Anytime she tweeted anything, people would come to her. And a big thing is my skinny girls, you have to come to the front and say, Lizzo makes a lot of y'all uncomfortable. A lot of times when someone who is fat like Lizzo is makes it, if she breaks through, a lot of people your thin body, you believe that you are entitled to certain things, you deserve to get some things, and it's pretty privileged. That is palatable because your body type is respectable and because your body type is the beauty standard, you believe you are supposed to get stuff. You feel like you are all those things. You have been the system has not worked in the way in which the system is supposed to work in people who look like you's favor, and that's why y'all need her with such vitriol. Come on, we have to really do the work. We have to really do the work. He says, why we do the things we do. Why is there no room for Lizzo to be flawed? Why is there no room for Lizzo to be wrong? Why does every single thing that Lizzo do have to be scrutinized? Lizzo can't do anything without people having something to say. It's so funny because the thin girls get to do everything. They get to be mean. They get to be mean girls. They get to eat whatever they want. They get to say whatever they want. Their music is just not. People are just like, well, it don't matter because she's just cute and she's just fun. We love fun. Y'all just hate fun. We love fun. Fun, 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 fun. She might not. How come that same thing isn't given to Lizzo? How come that thing, you know what? It's fun. It's not given to Lizzo because that people don't get that room. That people don't get that room. Just people make excuses for them. People just be like, you know what? That them leave them alone. Let them be over there because they don't have that pretty privilege working in their favor because they don't meet the white supremacist standard of do whatever they want and be whatever they want. It's ugly. Y'all have to really explain that to me. The next thing is we can't divorce this from what is actually going on. The fact that y'all are so goddamn mean to Black women in the music industry. Like the music industry is already a filthy and nasty place, but Black women just really get it the worst. This phase that Lizzo is going through, every single Black artist has gone through this phase where people are just attacking you because the sun is shining. Because the sun is shining, Lizzo is a bad person. Because the sun is shining, Chloe is a hoe. Because the sun is shining, Beyonce bleaches her skin. Because the sun is shining, Rihanna doesn't deserve to have a career.
Because it doesn't matter how pretty you are as a fat girl, people, when you're fat, you're automatically unattractive.
The way I used to overperform in order to be described as anything except for fat, the way that I used to let people use me, the way that I used to tell jokes on command, the way that I used to literally do the most and become whomever I need to become, so that if someone else asked you which Shay, you wouldn't say fat first. You'd say, oh, the funny girl, oh, the loyal one. Like, if you call her up, she won't. Like, I was willing to be anything and do anything so that the first thing that people didn't say was, oh, what, the fat girl? And what I've learned in attempting to be anything but that was that I was that anyway. And so, baby, I'm so glad that the shackles are off my feet so I can dance. Because honestly, the shade that I have learned myself to be, the shade that I am becoming, the shade that I actually am without having to overperform or become or transform for anybody else, she's that girl. She's that girl. And it's a blessing to be her because baby. And so for anyone else that is embarking on a journey, or maybe you don't even know that you do go on a journey, you feel like you don't need to go on a journey and you're just tired of being seen as the fat girl. And believe you me, all they're going to tell you is the solution is to lose weight. But I want you to know that regardless of if you feel like a solution is needed or not, you're that girl. You're that girl. I said it. You're beautiful enough. You're smart enough. You're enough, period. And I done said it. And I done said it a million times in a million different ways on this page. And I'm going to keep saying it. Love you. Bye.
Being fat and being fine at the same time is a very difficult position to be in. And it's difficult because people make it difficult. Like, if you find me to be a beautiful woman, then just say that. Like, you don't have to be torn between, oh, she's pretty, but she's also this. I know that. It's called being a multidimensional being. It's called duality. That's what it's called. I know I'm not a size 2. I know I never lost the pandemic weight. I know that. I know that I'm fat. But I also know I'm fine. I also know the face card doesn't decline. I also know that you want me. And it's not even about you want me, love. I am so content in who I am. And I love who I am so much. I'm not concerned about what you want to see from me. My body is not yours. You don't get to push whatever narrative you have over women's bodies or black women's bodies or whatever. You don't get to push that on me. I'm not going to take it from anybody. So if you feel like I'm pretty or fine, that's cool. If you don't, that's also okay. But you do not get to come into my space and tell me how to exist or make it seem like I'm less pretty because I'm also something else. You know, it's just, people are weird and I still don't get it. And it's just like, grow up. It's 2024. No one cares about being fat anymore. We care about being broke. Clock it.
Lizzo blocked me and I am hurting. Owie. I found out it was just stunning. I didn't expect it, but I logged onto my Twitter because I was following a story that she was threatening to quit her career, only to discover that she's blocked me. And as I was reading this article about her tweets, I realized that these were some subtle digs at Candace Owens herself.
Lizzo has always been fat and has faced a large amount of fatphobia from within and outside the Black community. Her body has always been a spectacle. Lizzo had the audacity to demand space for herself in an industry, a world that hates fat Black women. And the moment she called attention to the misogynoir, anti-fatness, and the double standard, the world couldn't wait to do what it does best, shit on a fat Black woman. I love Lizzo, however, obese women are not beauty standards, not even curvaceous ones. Black women suffer from obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure way too much to be buying into fat is beautiful. Take care of yourself. I feel you, but it is a sin to make people feel ashamed to be in their own body. That happened to Black people for 400 years, and we did not like it at all. I saw that Lizzo was losing weight and looking great. I love that, and I'm happy for her. I hate the industry that takes a beautiful and talented Black woman and makes her act like a giant clown just to get attention. So again, I think it's interesting how there are a lot of people who do similar things, and a lot of people align her with being a buffoon or being a mammy. And I like what this Twitter user says. They say, Lizzo has never positioned herself as a fat liberationist. She has always been a Black woman who was also fat and therefore chose to love herself out loud, not someone who was committed to fat liberation by name. So the response to this is weird. Representation politics fails us. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this subject. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for listening to Books and Looks TV. I'll see y'all next time.